Going over to the political part of the podcast, Representative Thomas Massie calling out DC's lack of will to actually stop the fraud. This was actually first posted by J.D. Vance, who says, he says, quote, President Trump announces VP will be leading administration's war on fraud. I'm sure they'll do a lot about it.
When it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. He'll get it done.
Will he?
And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing.
Yeah, you say that. I hope you do. But I am skeptical. And Thomas Massie says so as well. Thomas Massie says, quote, this was called a Doge, and at the last State of the Union and before you called it the Oversight Committee. No one in D.C. is serious about cutting fraud because one man's fraud is another man's re-election program. When I offered an amendment to end all daycare fraud, the speaker blocked it. Yeah, why did Elon Musk resign? You had Doge finding a lot of corruption. How many people did Donald Trump hold accountable? How many people went to jail for the fraud that they found? Now, they shut down USAID, so you could argue they stopped the bleeding in terms of money going overseas and the things that shouldn't be going to. But was anyone held accountable? Now, when it comes to Minnesota, which, again, I purposely mispronounced as a slight to that weak and conquered state, some people have been prosecuted. But what about the people, what about middle management? What about the upper management? What about Governor Tim Walz, who is overseeing all of this corruption, increasing more and more and more? Or Jason Frey, Minneapolis mayor. How many of them were held accountable? Oh, yes, 0. But again, some people, I believe, what was it, 60 of the 90 people accused were actually prosecuted. They got some penalties and fines. How many politicians were held accountable? I mean, do you think Trump actually, and Trump says, we're going to actually balance the budget by getting rid of the corruption. We'll reel it in. We'll expose the Democrats. We're going to drain the swamp. Oh, no. Oh, we're deport all the illegals. Mass deportations. Yeah, that's what he says. He said a lot of things. He made a lot of promises. Still waiting for him to get rid of the abhorrent federal income tax. That'd be nice. Lord knows we could use a break. But no. And Thomas Massie, give him credit. He's pretty consistent with his ideals. But again, they said, oh yeah, no, we're not going to actually do anything. So Trump has this new initiative, and J.D. Vance is going to be he'll be on the case. Will he? Will they find so much? Will they actually stop the corruption so much that they balance the budget? Which, again, Republicans have been saying since I was a kid, we're going to shrink the government, we're going to balance the budget, and get America back to work, which is a cliche thing all politicians say. Yeah, we're $38 trillion in debt because of the corruption and or ineptitudes of Democrats and Republicans. 38 trillion plus. We're spending more on the interest of that loan than we spend on defense, which when I was a kid, the biggest butt of politics was everyone complaining about how much we spend on defense, which is more than other countries, obviously, by a lot. But we're not spending more on the interest. We're not even paying the friggin' principal. Now, eventually, we have to do something unique or have to do something innovative to actually offset that deficit, like sell something useless we don't use. Sell something useless that means nothing to our country's GDP or our people, but it could be worth selling to China. I know, we'll sell Hawaii. I mean, they're not making iPhones or software innovations or stuff there. They're basically tourism. They got a military base. Woohoo. They have the stupid way they call it the lays, the little necklaces they hand out. They got coconuts. And Hawaiian t-shirts, I suppose, but I think it was made in China. They're just designed in Hawaii. That could be it. We sell Hawaii to China, then we make Cuba the 50th state. So now that way our flags stay the same. So they have 50 glorious states. And I'd argue Cubans and Cuba loves America and freedom a lot more than Hawaiians, but I'm only partially kidding. And since it's where, do you trust shady fans to do this? Again, they got some good marketing people at the Trump administration. A lot of people love JD Vance. But in terms of, again, reeling in the spending, stopping the corruption, holding anyone accountable, again, I'm pretty damn skeptical. Well, how many people has Trump arrested for the Epstein files? That, again, he said didn't exist. It was a Democrat hoax. Yeah. So, again, I hope we stop the corruption. Lord knows we need to. We're spending money left and right. And we're putting all of us and our kids and kids' into debt. It's not sustainable. It's not good. But I'm very skeptical to think, oh yeah, they're gonna get right on that. JD Vance is on the job. Don't worry. Now, it's got about 786,000 views and 38,000 likes. Now, Thomas Massie says receipt. This is a tweet from February 4th. It was Thomas Massie said, quote, a judge said that Trump can't withhold daycare funds from states where his administration believes fraud is occurring, so I offered this amendment to the omnibus, which contains daycare program funding, to ambiguously give Trump the power to those funds. To those funds, it was blocked. Got 4.5 thousand likes. One of the first comments comes to us thanks to Josh Boehm. It's Kevin from The Office. It's, he's labeled GOP, and they're trying to force him to eat broccoli. It's labeled actual spending cuts. Getting 241 likes, which, yeah. Again, since I was a kid, Republicans always say we're going to shrink the government, give you gun rights, and balance the budget. Again, for decades, they've said that. It's always in their marketing materials. But, yeah, how much have they actually done? And we were supposed to, Trump said we were going to get, a freedom dividend because of the tariffs. Now, again, I blame the Supreme Court in part because they overdid the tariffs. But, again, we never got that. Some of the U.S. soldiers got some part of that dividend. Which, again, I think it's good that someone got it, and Lord knows they're giving to our country. I appreciate that, obviously. Again, Trump said everyone's going to get that back. Now, you also have Gloff says the Thomas Massie guy for governance. It says, make outlandish demands that will never pass into law, post on Twitter, make no concessions, ensure the bill doesn't pass, complain on Twitter, post campaign donation link. Get 178 likes, so you do have a contrarian statement. Tattoo, dang it, I don't always try to butcher names. This guy, my speaking ineptitudes, from Natu Nakamoto, and it's always sunny in Philadelphia meme where you have the Boyle brothers. The one of them is hanging off the roof, and one is labeled Justice. The person hanging off the roof is We the People. He goes, I got you, brother. And then Frank comes in with the 2x4, pushing the guy down, labeled the Dow 50K, getting 71 likes, which yeah, I'll never forget that. Grilling Pam Bondi asking, how many people have you arrested because of Epstein cases? Why are you talking about that? We should be talking about the economy. The Dow's at 50K, which is like asking your car mechanic, I have a toothache. How does this look? All right, you should be bragging about my teeth. What? It's not your job, idiot. Pam Bondi, you're supposed to be prosecuting people and holding people accountable. And you're talking about the Dow. That was clearly a Trump coached deflection. You also have Nick's Dank Memes. There's a picture of a individual with a MAGA hat and Thomas Massie, and the MAGA hat guy goes, can you believe all the fraud our taxes are paying for? And Thomas Massie says, quote, that's exactly why I keep voting against giant spending bills and full of earmarks and pork. Then the MAGA guy says, shut up, Democrat, getting 99 likes. Make it 100. Let's see here. A lot of people posting that same meme. Lockpick World has a picture of Thomas Massie says, I have a bad case of Trump derangement syndrome, getting 34 likes. You also have Jacob Slattery says the nation needs people like in DC like Massie who stick to their values and campaign promises in the face of opposition. America First needs become assertive to the point of the right wing and will ensure and the salads are voted out and the primary is getting 11 likes. So yeah, I'm very hopefully there's actually cuts done and investigations, people held accountable, but I'm pretty skeptical to say the least. But let me know your thoughts because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to do 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comments. Great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone, everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.